Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Marilyn Darling Show. Today is Friday, the 13th, September 2019. And today we're looking at Herbin Emerald of Chivor, and this is what it looks like. This is a very, very high emphasis on very complicated ink. And I found that I am not getting all of the benefits of this ink because of the pens that I was using. I was using fine point, and then I tried to use a medium, and now I'm using a stub nib because I think that's where it's at. I think that it needs a stub nib in order to be seen, or a very double broad, maybe even a music nib in order to be seen. So I found it through the eBays in certain stores, but if you try and search for it on Google, it didn't do how it usually does, and tells me, the lowest to highest when it comes to, trying to find the prices for these things. So I had to do some research. This is what I could find. This is just off the top of my head. You might want to do your research on your own. Check your favorite pen and ink providers. So I found a 2 mil sample on Goulet for $2.25. I also found a 3 mil sample on Anderson pens for $2.50. I found on Jet Pens you can get a 5 mil sample for $4.95. That's a 5 mil sample for $5. So it's like $1 a mil, which it's totally worth it. Just trust me. You could get a 50 mil bottle for $29.50 on Jet Pens, or also a 50 mil bottle for $29.95 from Goulet, or $32 from Anderson pens. Now, what is the difference between these? They're the same bottle of ink, and it looks similar to this bottle. This is kind of doing a Paul, but it's the same square bottle. And the only difference that I can tell you is the shipping time. Goulet will be really quick if you live in the United States and you live on the East Coast, or it will take like a really long time depending on where you live in the world. So this is 49 millimeters by about 49.5 millimeters. So by like 49.5 millimeters. So it's a cube. It's almost a perfect cube, minus the hat, which is 16 millimeters thick, give or take, maybe like 20 millimeters thick. So that just gives you an idea of like how big the bottle is. It's a relatively big bottle, 19 millimeters in all directions. So it's funny because the bottle looks like it's tapered on one side or another, but it's not. It's completely flat. I mean, there might be a very slight curvature from where the meniscus, and on the bottom there's a little bit of a meniscus, but not much. Like, there's a little tiny dip in the bottom. These are beautiful inks. Beautiful inks, beautiful design for the bottle. They're fantastic. And this is what it looks like up against the Crayola crayon sheet. And this has shimmer, and you could see it is all over my hands, because let me just tell you, I switched from using a little tiny one to a big one, and I pushed a little too hard into the vial. So that is that. Let's get into the book, shall we? Into the journal. This is what happened yesterday. The ink was Monteverde Jade Noir, and it is a very dark ink. And real quickly, we will look at what happened yesterday. On the Monteverde Jade Noir, I would definitely not use these for addressing my letters, just saying. Okay, so in order to show off the properties of this ink, I did put it in a 2.4 millimeter stub. This is a Pilot Parallel, and this is going to bleed through like a motherfricker, so be prepared for lots of bleed through, because this ink is fantastic, but it bleeds through a lot. So what you want to do is you either want to take a piece of paper or you want to cut yourself out a sheet, or you want to take a baggie and place it underneath so it doesn't bleed over into your next paper, because this ink does have tendency to bleed through really heavily on the bleed through if you use a Pilot Parallel. Heavy on the bleed through. Did I mention it's heavy on the bleed through? Okay, so here we go. September the 13th. Oh God. And it's Friday. Friday the 13th. I did not realize that. Don't go under any ladders. Now, this ink looks really, nice for now. But we're going to give it a little while to dry, and it will soak completely through the page, and then we will take a peek at the gold shimmer that happens when we use this type of an ink. Now, this is a dark ink. It's a blue-black. It's a blue-green. It's very heavy on the blue part of the green. So, I mean, you can see... Boy. And you can see the heavy on the blue. It looks almost like Kyanite to Nepal. Greener than Kyanite to Nepal, but dark, beautiful ink. Oh, do you see it? We're starting to see some sparkle. You can definitely see that there's gonna be some crazy shading in here. This pen writes so wet. It's such a wet writer. Oh man, I can see the sparkle. But I don't get any specific crazy looking gold shimmer like these people do on this page here. Like, I'm not getting that. And that's okay, because that's not what I'm reviewing here. We're just gonna write with ink today, and it bleeds through. Do you see this? This is all bleeding through. So, put something down, because it's going to bleed through. Just telling you now, because... Oh, you didn't tell me that it was gonna bleed through. I'm telling you right now. This ink is a monster. Okay, so just take that into consideration when using this ink, or use a fine pen. But you're not gonna get the sparkles or the shimmer or the whatever it is. So let's take a look real close, shall we? Hope you can see it there. Right there. See it? Once it dries, it starts to come through, which is really spectacular once you catch the light just right. Okay, anyway, so let's get into the paper. This is Hewlett Packard 24-pound, 90-gram printer paper. Let's see how she holds up. This is a pretty absorbent paper, so it's not going to get a whole lot of bleed. But bleed monster. So, alright, let's try the construction paper. This stuff is better hold up. Beautiful bluish green ink. Oh, you couldn't see that at all. Sorry. Anyway, so we did the construction paper, and this is what it looks like. No bleed through on the construction paper, but that's about the only one because I did it on a 24-pound, 90-gram copy paper by Hewlett Packard, and it was a bleed through monster. So, bled through like crazy. You can totally see all the bleed through, all the way through. So, Jeroboam, get your thing straight. Make your pen, make your inks less bleed through properties. Ask Monteverdi how they do it with their technology, their ITF technology, because I think that's what keeps it from bleeding through the paper. Anyway, these have some beautiful shimmer going on, and I love the Pilot Parallel because all you gotta do is shake the pen a little bit to get it to shake up the particles in there. So that's great today. Oh, let's do the letters. I don't know why you would want to use. Anyway, let's see how it goes. Oh, geez, it's feathering like crazy on this paper. Can you see the E? Oh, oops. Look at all this feathering. Oh my gosh. That is awful. Anyway, let's do this one now. My advice is to, if you're going to use this ink to label your address your letters, do it before you put the letter in, otherwise you might bleed through to the inside of the, yeah, so I don't know if you can see, but there's bleed through. So address your labels first, and just make sure that you address your labels first. Put a piece of sticky tape over it, or put some wax, or whatever you do. Alright, let's do the art journal. I'm going to put these in the bath test, and we'll come back tomorrow. Alright, yesterday I think I made a mistake by not having my camera on for a little while. Or I made a mistake in editing. I thought I muted one clip and it muted the entire thing, which I'm sorry about that. Stuff happens. That's just life, you know. Okay, so because this ink really doesn't have great moving properties from what I've seen, I've added a drop of dish soap. So we're gonna see how that goes. that I'm done messing up this picture. That's all for today, so thank you all for watching. Please don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Have a great day. Okay, love you, bye.